October 13th, St. Edward the Confessor, King of England. Among the many saints who have adorned the English Church, no one perhaps has been more beloved and held in greater honor by his countrymen than King Edward, surnamed the Confessor. This great prince was son of Ethelred II and was driven into exile by the Danish usurper Canute, who had seized upon the throne of England on the death of Edmund Ironside. For many years Edward wandered from court to court, frequently in danger of his life, through the machinations of his enemies. But at length, in AD 1042, when he had attained the age of 40, he was unexpectedly recalled to England to occupy the throne of his fathers. Though Edward assumed the scepter in most difficult times, and seemed by his piety and simplicity better fitted for a cloister than a crown, yet never was there a reign more blessed or a monarch more beloved. Even the turbulent Danes, who considered England as their own by right of conquest, cheerfully submitted to his just and gentle rule. He was, in fact, the father of his people. His only thought was to alleviate their burthens, relieve their miseries, and promote in every way their prosperity and happiness. Hence he reigned securely in the hearts and affections of his subjects, and whenever in after years the people, groaning under the tyranny of the Normans, ventured to raise their voices in petition or complaint, their demand was always that a return might be made to the laws and customs of good King Edward. But Edward was not only beloved by his people as a gentle, just, and generous ruler, he was also esteemed and revered by them as a saint. A tender piety and ardent love of God had distinguished him from his childhood, and the trials and adversities of his exile had served to detach his heart entirely from the world and fix it upon heavenly things. A great part of his time was spent in prayer and pious reading, to which he joined rigorous fasts and other mortifications. Full of zeal for the glory of God and the beauty of his house, he expended large sums in pious foundations, among which the Abbey of St. Peter at Westminster holds the first place. The rest of his means were devoted to the relief of the poor and distressed, on whom he lavished alms with a liberal hand. Many were the miraculous cures wrought by the Holy King during his lifetime, especially in the healing of ulcerous sores, and on one occasion it is related that a poor cripple, whom he took up on his shoulders and carried to the church, was found on being set down to be perfectly sound and strong. His great esteem for the virtue of holy purity, which he preserved unspotted from his childhood, made Edward desirous to remain unmarried. However, for reasons of state, he deemed it advisable to enter into holy wedlock with Editha, daughter of Earl Godwin. Before the marriage ceremony was performed, he acquainted her with the vow of virginity which he had made to God, to which she cheerfully assented, and they lived together as brother and sister. He cherished a singular devotion to St. John the Evangelist, the great model of holy purity, and was accustomed never to refuse an alms asked in his name. It is related that on one occasion, having exhausted his money, he gave away a precious ring to a poor beggar in the name of St. John, and that it was brought back to him by a pilgrim a short time before his death, with a warning from the evangelist to prepare for his approaching end. The new church at Westminster having been at length completed, Edward caused the dedication to be celebrated on the feast of the Nativity of our Lord with the utmost solemnity. He assisted at it himself, and though taken ill during the ceremony, remained to the end. He then betook himself to his bed, and by fervent prayer and the sacraments of the church, prepared himself for his passage to eternity. Seeing his nobles all bathed in tears around his bed, and his virtuous queen sobbing and weeping bitterly, he said to her with great tenderness, "Weep not, dear daughter, I shall not die, but shall live. Departing from the land of the dying, I hope to see the good things of the Lord in the land of the living." Soon afterwards, he calmly expired on January the 5th, AD 1066, in the 64th year of his age and the 24th of his reign. He was buried in Westminster Abbey, where many miracles were wrought at his shrine, which was the daily resort of innumerable pilgrims until the evil days of the Reformation.